MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by the Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? How we doing? What's up, Ace Lee? Let me mute myself. There we go. Mute my. I want to hear my. We've done the microphone check already. We all good to go. We're open. NQ has been interestingly holding this range inside of the neutral zone. I'm doing one more check of my pre-market checklist. Make sure I got everything done. And I'm recentering on focus before I start to. Actually, I don't even have a trade bias yet because of by the design of the strategy. The main inventory is at 11,190 for NQ. Got a bit of a front run of that, of our session low. Picking up some inventory right here at 190. Well, right above 190. Let's see if that can be our last little inventory collection before we make a push. That's the way it's printing. All right. Gave us a mechanical response off of automation. Now we're heading back inside of that previous range, inside of that previous shop. There we go. There's the push. Following that front run of the session low, pushing the session low lower. Nice mechanical response off of PR -1. Also, we did have a gap over, a session gap from the yesterday's break. That was closed. It's like during today's pre-market. During the New York Stock Exchange pre-market hours. We just picked up some cheap inventory off of PR -1 to the tick at 180, but it's like right above. It was 181. It's an interesting number. So this area right here, 95, can be looked at as quick inventory structurally. As we hover automation. Holding a nice shot between that quick inventory point and some MSRP just above 205. Continue to push the supply. On a micro scale, we appear to be taking the elevator now. Taking a few seconds to negotiate at VWAP. Got a little bit of MSRP. It's a nice little MSRP zone here between 210-ish, 225. Picked up some more inventory off of 215. Overnight, I was looking at this as like this range is a big inventory collection for whatever they want to do in today's session. Also kind of referencing the other indices, ES, RTY, and YM, where they were already exploring their bull zone. They were trending bullish. So we'll see if that actually plays out. The note to self, this is V2. You may hear me use some language that may sound foreign to you. I'm just kind of creating my own language around the strategy that I'm using, but I want to get myself like programming myself to it in short. To this thing that I'm building. For this Trademas, I want to kind of also do what I would normally do if I was just trading by myself. So this Trademas is just like a exclusive type of insider view to how I would my normal regular session if I was just trading by myself. Kind of a behind the scenes, so to speak. Took another dip, got some cheap inventory off of the PR low. It's interesting how mechanical their price is trading in relation to my power range. Picked up some quick inventory off the VWAP. Should be our point of control area. Bringing us back into supply around 240. Looking to see if we get a supply lift here. We go searching for new supply. There we go. Quick inventory response off of 234. I'm wondering, this is going to be one of those days where NQ likes to just keep holding the reins because we are slowing down a little bit. Not that we came to this point with a lot of momentum, but we are coming to our session high. All right, we're starting to pick up. We're starting to take the elevator, pick up some momentum. All right, there's a push of supply, a new session high. Non-surprising quick retest. This gives us an interesting print on the 3-minute. And the 3-minute kind of shows, paints a picture to where we have some strength that should keep us, trending deeper into the bull zone. Push right through my A point. And then took the profits there as we paused at supply. And I'm actually kind of expecting a break here to lift. That was what I'm supposed to. So I have this thing right now that I'm building to where, see, this is the funny area that I get when I start working on strategies and start building strategies, to where I'll build it to the next phase, and then it's that little gray area to where where I actually transition to using that, what I built off of. So where I got out was where I was supposed to get out based on what's already set in stone. In hindsight capital says that was actually a decent location. So like what I'm doing now, yesterday was kind of a trying to use that fully, but then I reverted back to what the market was actually giving. And then, so, now I'm kind of leaning more towards the set in stone method now, but observing from the updated, so to speak, perspective, which is not, it's a very subtle difference. It's not really that much of a difference. Kind of to quickly address your questions, Ace, most of the terms that I use are going to be based off of, unless I'm talking about automation or PR, which is short for power range, like something like that, or MSRP. Those are the only times that I'm kind of talking about the lines on the charts, which as are just quick reference points. I don't really pay, that's in the background. The main thing that I'm paying attention to is price action, and the terms that I use is kind of a way of identifying the different types of price action. So the one reason that I use the language that I use is because is to kind of break away from how we commonly use, or in this space, terms like bear and bull and short and long are commonly used, and we get too caught up in the language and too caught up in the words that are being used and not actually paying attention to the price action. So I'm just kind of painting a picture around the price action, and it doesn't matter what words I use. Honestly, I just picked some words that are relative to the wholesale that you would see like in a regular store. With what we're the kind of market that we're more used to seeing on it during our everyday lives versus these financial markets. They're all the same. All right. So long story short, I'm just really applying some language to key points where I'll be looking for, a specific thing in price action. It's a colorful way to put it. So inventory, what I'm usually referring to as inventory, is where I see price action kind of showing us that where buyers are. And then of course supply is going to be kind of showing us that kind of in a sense to where supply means where sellers are. But I'm talking about this from the perspective of the entity that's in the middle, that's facilitating those orders. So if I want to buy something, if I want to buy a contract of this or some shares or whatever, when I send my orders into the market, that doesn't go directly to the seller. That goes to wholesale or to market makers. And then they facilitate those orders and find the other side. Now they're serving as temporarily as the other side of my trade, but the actual other side is they're just facilitating that transaction. So I got more videos on this stuff and more articles on mv3trader.com that breaks everything down. But that's just a quick little breakdown while I have a break in my trading. So that took us back to an inventory zone of 230. We're back inside of our session range, inside of NZ, short for neutral zone. So just off of what I've expressed, I'm gonna change the language real quick, just for fun, since I'm not getting really good setups right now, and I'm up, so it's no need for me to force anything. So what we're doing is we're gonna be a pizza delivery. Yeah, we're delivering pizzas, right? So let's just say inventory is gonna be, the buyers are gonna be just the regular customers, right? And then supply is gonna be the store. Just, I wouldn't think too much in that. I'm just identifying some terms to express the different sides of the markets, right? So we just delivered some pieces to. Actually, I like it. I want to flip it. I want to flip it because it'll make more sense if I flip it. So the store is the buyers, our inventory, and then the customers is supply. So we just picked up some pieces from the store at 220, right? We're taking it. We just dropped some pieces off to the customers at 230 from the micro scale that I'm looking at. But it doesn't matter because it's happening on all time frames. I'm just, the way that I'm breaking it down is on this, it's from a zoomed in scale based off of tick charts. So we went back, and now after we dropped those pieces off around 230, 234, went back to the store, picked up some pieces right above 220, probably like 221-ish. So our store right now is in that 220 zone. Now we're out delivering pieces, but the neighborhood is going to be in that. So now we got a lot of orders that just came in. So now we're frantically trying to serve all of these orders. Store is still at the 220 zone. Just a real quick break from this. This is off of, they're using economic news for this. It was like consumer confidence and something else. It's also a mental note for me to update my journal later. All right, we picked up some more pieces off of 230. Right now, we're dropping those pieces off at 245. That volatility didn't last long for now. Quickly picked up some more pieces at 230. All right, so we're riding through that neighborhood now. We did have to drop off some pieces right there, but we're starting to travel to a different neighborhood. But along the way, we are dropping off a couple pieces. We got one of our regular neighborhoods, one of our regular routes at 255 that we did drop off some pieces. Pizza guys has traveled a little further away from my store, dropping off pieces along the way. Had to pick up a couple pieces to drop off some more. But our store is still in that 230 zone until we find a new store. Looks like we could be picking up some pieces here at 255. That hasn't been confirmed yet. But from a, doing it in sort of a budgeting way. Hey, that was extremely temporary. Heading back towards our store. All right, we're reading our order book. Starting to pick up some more pieces. Drop them off real quick as we're looking at our order book. Back inside of our store. All right, picked up some more pieces, taking it back to our neighborhood. Starting to drop some pieces off here at 255. Really dropping those pieces off in this supply range or this neighborhood. Stick to the terms. This is also this is where we had our overnight session high before. The new session high is at around 275. Still dropping off some pieces. All right, we're extending our route. We're finding some more customers to drop pieces off to. So sticking with this pizza reference, when we go and pick up pieces from the store, it's not always a direct. We're going to pick up excess pizza so we can serve more customers as we go back out and we start delivering again. So we're not just picking up pieces that we already know customers have ordered. We're going to pick up those pieces and we're going to pick up even more pieces so that when we do what we're doing now, going out to, we're extending our route, going into new neighborhoods. We make sure that we have plenty of pieces to serve whatever customers are in these new neighborhoods, or in these neighborhoods that we were not previously doing business in. So we're finding a nice drop off point here at 280. A quick drop off point at 280. Let's see what our pizza guy wants to do. Do he wants to go keep delivering further? And he decides to deliver a little bit further into this neighborhood, or whatever, into this area. So we kind of did find a quick place to pick up some more pieces around 275. Say what happens here within the next few minutes would be telling of how hot the market is, how many customers are wanting to order pizzas. And so we're still finding some new customers. Had to do a quick little reload around 280 to 275. Finding new customers to drop more pieces off to. Inventory is, our pizza inventory is starting to get low. It's like we kind of found a quick stash to pick some new pizzas up at 288. The last point, we found some pieces to pick up. Getting tongue tied. The last point, or last area, because these are not exact points, these are areas. The last area that we found some pieces to pick up is in this 280 zone. So we're making our way back. Let's see if we want to pick up some more pieces there. Do we have pieces there to pick up? Price is stalling here, so our delivery man is pausing here. So looks like there may be some pieces to pick up. Let's see if he has enough. We'll know if our pizza guy has enough to pick up if he decides to go back out from here and serve some more customers, which is exactly what he's starting to do. It would appear that the market has kind of cooled off a bit. All right. So he previously found some customers in this 290 zone. He's out serving his customers again. If his supply starts to run low, then, or if his inventory starts to run low, if his collection of pieces start to run low, he has that 280 zone, which could be his first area that he'll look up to pick up some new pieces. He did start to find some pieces to pick up. It's going to roughly say around the 285. So we have a zone of 285 to 280 where we saw our pizza guy pick up some new pizza. And he's not taking that pizza far. His customers are mostly in that 290 zone. And at this point, I think we get the pizza reference. That's just a. But you notice when I said all that, I didn't say anything about the other lines on the charts because it's irrelevant. It's like honestly irrelevant. And it's just like I kind of use that stuff sometimes, but as a way of kind of identifying trend. But if you all you really need to do is follow price, and then the structure around that price. That's going to be the main thing. That's the main reason why I go with the wholesale terms, and you can see I can easily change out the terminology because these are just words that we're using to make it make sense to us. So I'm using the wholesale terms to make it make sense. So I just use the pizza business terms to kind of put a new light on it, to simplify it. Also illustrates that all these markets, they work the same. And I'm officially at or past my trading window. I ain't have to clean the setups today. I had, nah, not really. Maybe I had one other setup that I could have taken that would have, in hindsight. Now I can look at this in hindsight and say that I could probably pick out about 4 or 5 points, but those would not have been my primary setups that I'm looking for. I may have had one more of those while I was going through the whole pizza guy narrative. So we're holding the zone here. No changes. No changes to supply and inventory. Just in this budgeting phase. I think I'm gonna have to chop that up and make it its own little piece of content. Appreciate all the questions. Allows me to expand further into all these concepts that I understand at this point. Also, a good point for a quick disclaimer as I narrate this stuff, that whatever I say is not trading advice. I'm only sharing my perspective, but I highly encourage and recommend that you follow your own strategy, follow your own plan. It's going to serve you better. We're slowly making our way into new highs. Got a mechanical response there at 300, a whole number, but we're starting to quickly push that. But we're right back inside the range. I think this puts me at a good point to bring today's session to a close. It's not really a whole lot going on at this point. Now, these are the times usually where I do actually like to watch, and these have been, for me personally, I've learned a lot in these slow moments for what's possible, what how our wholesale and how our participants like to go about their business. So I'm only saying that is because most of the time, I say this all the time, and I probably keep saying it because that's how important it is to me, in my opinion, that a lot of times I see people get bored in these moments and they stop paying attention. But when you're not paying attention, that gives other participants the opportunity to use their edge. And because they use their edge is exposed, especially with our size participants and our man in the middle. It's exposed, so you can see what they're doing and you can start to get a sense of how they operate. And then from there, you can decide if you want to care about that, or if you want to use it to adjust what you're doing or whatever, right? You can make a decision from there once you become aware to it. But I think it's really beneficial to have that awareness to the times that where most people are not giving their attention to. That in and of itself, gives you a statistical edge. Now, I always say your real edge is you, because you're the only one with your perspective. You're the only one that sees the charts and all the other technicals and fundamentals the way that you see it. So your true edge is you. However, you can have statistical edges by the way that you play around with statistics. The most common way that people are used to looking at the statistics are through these indicators. All that is statistics printed on the chart. from historical reference of mostly price and volume. But the true edge is you. And your edge plus your statistical edge, you know, the more you can marry those two together based off of what you hold from within, that's going to make you stronger, at least with your analysis. Now, you can analyze this stuff perfectly. Executing on that is a totally different story. That's another, you know, another piece of the puzzle. But getting back to the original point, during these times when the market slows down, while other people are taking a break and getting coffee and all that stuff, if you want to have an edge, that's an easy edge to get. It's just to pay attention to these slow times. You know, just dropping it in there that you can. It's a easy way to get an edge, to gain a statistical edge. Now, what you get from that, that's going to be completely based on you and your true edge, right? So, with all that being said, just wanted to drop that nugget off real quick. Appreciate everybody for coming through. I appreciate the questions, Ace. Hope everybody have a good rest of your session, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Trade it easy. And I just realized my music wasn't going through, but that's all good.